Welcome to your water signs Zodiac Yoga embodiment. Go ahead and come to the top of your mat, bringing your feet together and inhaling as you soften your drishti, your gaze, or even close down the eyes, drawing the senses inward, pratyahara, and beginning to awaken to your emotional world. The water signs rule over our emotions. And here, as you drop in, becoming aware of your internal reality, setting an intention to explore the full spectrum of your emotional gifts and even superpowers. Honoring the emotional terrain, this gift of life, as you breathe in and breathe out, bringing the hands to the womb space, the low belly. The first water sign is Cancer, the sign of the mother. And here, just bringing the hands to the low belly. If you have a womb connecting into that space, or if you don't have one, just imagining what would that be like to give birth to my creativity, give birth to the life I truly long to live. And as you place your hands on your low belly, allow the low belly to expand with every inhale, like a balloon inflating, filling the belly with breath. And exhaling, contracting, hugging the navel in, expelling the breath, releasing stagnant emotions as you exhale, and bringing in this ujjayi breath as you fill the low belly with air, with prana, life force, and exhale, contracting, releasing any stuck, blocked emotions with every exhale, deepening the breath, inhaling, and bringing in the sound of the ocean, that ultimate water, body of water, by gently constricting the back of the throat ever so gently, creating our ujjayi breath. Listening to the sound of your breath, letting it wash over you like calming waves, cleansing your body, your spirit. Beautiful. Continuing to breathe here, we're just going to scan the body, becoming aware of the bottom of your feet, feeling where your feet connect to the floor, drawing your awareness up the feet to the ankles, the calves and shins, your knees, maybe lifting up and out of the knees, the inner thigh and outer thigh, quadriceps and hamstrings. Becoming aware of the glutes and the pelvic bowl, maybe finding some movement in the pelvis. We're going to be doing a lot of hip opening to release stuck or trapped emotions in the hips by somatically synchronizing with the stars, the three water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. So just letting your hips find some movement, maybe a pelvic, tilting the pelvis forward and back, side to side, maybe creating a figure 8 here just briefly. And then finding stillness, drawing your awareness up, the stomach, the back, side body, the rib cage, breathing in, and breathing out, finding your own rhythmic flow to your ujjayi breath, and scanning your awareness up to your shoulders, imagining a waterfall warmly washing over your shoulders, melting away any tension, taking a moment to imagine this water healing you, surrendering any stuck or trapped energy in the shoulder blades, maybe rolling the shoulders out a few times in both directions, beginning to warm up the shoulders, and scanning the awareness down the arms, maybe shaking out the wrists for a minute, becoming aware of your hands, and focusing on the two palms of your hands, concentrating your awareness on these 2 points at the palms of the hands, And then expanding your awareness to all 10 fingertips, using the Scorpio's power of focus and concentration here. Contracting your awareness again to these 2 points in the center of your palms, taking a moment to focus your awareness on these 2 points, the palms of the hands. And then expanding the awareness to all 10 fingertips. Just noticing how you can both contract and expand your awareness through the power of your focus and concentration and intention. Then scanning your awareness back up your arms to the neck and shoulders, scalenes, traps, releasing more tension here. Relaxing the neck, and then bringing your awareness to every single hair on your head, seeing if you can become aware of every hair on the head. Bringing your awareness to the crown and even the space above the head, Sahasrara. Maybe beginning to bring in that amazing quality of water, the imagination, and imagining 1,008 petaled lotus flower blossoming above your head in your crown chakra. And then bringing your awareness to your third eye, space between the eyebrows, the mental command center. Taking a moment to pause here and noticing the condition of your mind today. Perhaps your thoughts have been tamasic, lethargic, foggy since you woke up. Or maybe your thoughts have been fast, agitated, rajasic, jumping from thought to thought, from future to past. Maybe the mind has been peaceful, still, tranquil, and sattvic, clear. Just taking a little inventory, reflecting, like the water, on the weather pattern of the mind today, the condition of the mind. And taking a moment to acknowledge that as you can observe your thoughts, therefore you are not your thoughts. You are the vast space of awareness behind the thoughts, containing the thoughts, even separate from the thoughts. That consciousness. And just like the sky doesn't become disturbed by clouds passing by, see if you can witness and observe thoughts and how they might trigger emotional states or the sympathetic or parasympathetic nervous system, even how maybe automatic negative thoughts might be popping up. And rather than get attached to the thoughts or seduced by the illusion of the thoughts, the current, the powerful, intoxicating current of the thoughts, samsara, mahamaya, like the matrix. Just making an intention, setting an intention to be fully aware, present in the moment as we flow through at least the beginning of our practice. And we're going to flow like water, lifting the arms up, one breath, one movement, inhaling, coming up, and just gently bowing forward, gracefully flowing, releasing into a forward fold. Gently lift and lengthen, and then forward folding here, taking a moment just to release, surrender, and maybe even imagining energy running up the yin channels of the inside of the legs, like earth energy, being pulled up through the inner seam of the legs and pooling at the sacrum, the root chakra, and then cascading like a waterfall over the spine as you release the neck. Let the brain be heavy in the head, maybe shaking the head yes and no, bending at the knees as needed here. Perhaps you have a block to support you. Creating a supportive practice, a nurturing practice here. Letting the waters flow, maybe as you inhale, inhaling vital earth energy up through the meridians of the inner thigh. And then letting it cascade, wash over your spine, melting up like a waterfall, flowing to the earth as you surrender, creating space between the vertebra. And one more deep breath here. Ujjayi breath, the sound of the ocean, let it soothe you. And then placing the hands on the earth, we're just going to step back into our plank pose for a moment, and then prostrate fully, coming down to the earth for a moment, taking your time here, connecting with the grounding energy of the earth beneath you, maybe rocking the hips side to side if that serves you. We're just going to press up into a low cobra, opening the heart. The water signs are so deeply loving. So just opening the heart here and releasing down. We're going to press back into a child's pose. Opening the knees, letting the seat fall back towards the heels. The heart is melting open as the arms reach out in front of you, palms facing down. And placing the third eye supportively on the floor. As you breathe here, Ujjayi breath. And taking time to feel deeply supported, held, and nurtured in your child's pose. The first water sign of the Zodiac, Cancer, the Cancerian archetype, the sign of the mother, depicted as the vulnerable, sensitive crab with a hard shell on the outside and the most tender feelings on the inside. Breathing here, melting the heart, releasing through the back and the hips, breathing into the hips, releasing any blocked emotions. Beautiful. Cancer is the sign of the mother, caring for all of her children, ruled by the moon. It's the moon goddess energy, the divine mother. Just letting yourself being supported here in your child's pose by Bhumi Devi, Divine Mother in the form of the earth. Then we're going to take some spinal rolls, rolling like the waves, bringing the knees under you, almost moving through a tabletop position here, arching the back like you're in a cat pose here as you bring the shoulders over wrists, dropping the pubic bone, the pelvis towards the earth, rolling through the spine, and then allowing the chin to come up last, looking up, and then tucking the chin, pressing down through all 10 fingers and the palms of the hands. As you arch through the upper back, shoulder blades are moving away from each other here, arching, the navel's coming in, cat pose, and then coming back into your child's pose without having your knees too wide apart. And then rolling again, one breath, one movement, inhaling, hips drop, chin comes up last, filling up with breath, and then exhaling, pressing back, navel hugs in, seat lifts and meets the heels. And again, rolling like the waves of the ocean, like the emotions flowing through, not getting caught in one expression of the emotion, but just letting it flow, letting it happen. And keep rolling through your spinal rolls, warming up the spine, creating a supple spine here as you inhale and exhale. Find your breath. A few more. And then finally coming up to our downward facing dog. Lifting the seat high, the gaze is at the navel, and pedaling out the legs as the hamstrings start to melt towards the earth, and then pressing up and back through all 10 fingers and the palms of your hands. Finding a really healthy space for your shoulders, just negotiating with your shoulders in space. Releasing the neck, the brain is heavy in the head. And again, you can bring in this energy as you deeply inhale of pulling earth energy up through the inner thighs, like imagining it drawing up with your breath, pulling at the Muladhara root chakra, and then cascading down over the spine like a waterfall. One more breath here. And then just look forward, lift the seat, bend the knees, step or hop as you look forward into your forward fold. And we're just gonna roll like a wave up the spine, slow and sensually here. Bringing the arms up, greeting the day, and bringing the hands together at the heart center. Feet are together in this balancing posture, mountain pose. Just taking a moment to notice the effects, bask in the after effect. And releasing the hands down, palms facing forward. I'm going to move through one more round here, flowing. Inhaling, rise up, shoulders melt down as the arms come up. Greet the day by opening the heart. Exhaling, bowing forward, flat back, protecting the low back by engaging the navel. Releasing into your forward fold, perhaps with bent knees. And then Ardha coming up, half lift, coccyx, tailbone reaches back while the crown comes forward. I'm engaging my navel here. Pressing the hands into the earth, stepping back into my plank posture. I'm going to come down all the way to the earth with an exhale. And then we're going to come into a little Shalabhasana. So you can bring the palms down flat behind you, fingers pointing towards the toes. And then we're going to just lift up by pressing the pubic bone. Maybe you need to tuck your tailbone slightly here to get the fully access this posture. And pressing the pubic bone into the earth, we're going to lift up with an inhale. Stay for 3 breaths. Lifting up the hands, the shoulders, and the thighs, legs. Legs are super active here. And begin. Long, neck is long. The gaze is slightly in front of us. The shoulders are pulling back, pressing down through the pubic bone. Strengthening the low back, opening the heart, reaching back through the fingertips and the toes. Crown is reaching forward, and release. Gorgeous. We're going to press back into child's pose one more time. Surrendering the heart down, the arms come out in front of us to allow for the shoulder blades to release. And opening through the hips, opening through the knees, letting the hips melt down towards the floor. And breathing here, connecting to your Ujjayi breath. Letting the breath help you open up and access your emotional world. This is a safe space for you to process your emotions, feel all your feelings, embrace them, lean in. Beautiful. And then we're just going to come up to sitting on our heels here, on our knees, Vajrasana, lightning pose, and warm up, create a supple spine, and find emotional safety. Balance the nervous system too with some warm-up exercises. So we're going to flex the spine by opening the chest, shoulders come back, chest comes forward and even lifts slightly here. And my chin stays parallel to the floor and my head stays in alignment, more or less here. And then I'm going to exhale back, concaving the back, rounding up the spine, hugging the navel in, and inhaling, exhaling. So we're going to inhale forward, exhale back in a rapid breath to really engage the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. The inhale sympathetic, exhale parasympathetic, just to start to balance this so we can come into a state of peace and feeling really safe and good in our bodies. So we're going to inhale forward. I like to move my hands with my body, but if you'd like to come up on your fingertips and find some flexion in the wrists, go for that. And we're going to begin. And you can do this as fast or as slow as you like. Maybe you want to go really slow to begin. Inhaling forward, exhaling back, and then eventually finding a rhythm that works for you. Closing down the eyes, maybe even gazing up at the third eye, the space between the eyebrows, and perhaps lifting up through the pelvic floor. Keep up. Keep going. Creating a supple spine. It's not necessarily the deepest stretch or fluctuation, but rather it's all about the breath here. Satnam, 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 Satnam. Inhale, exhale. Twenty more seconds. Beautiful. And if this is too much for your knees, you can always do this in an easy pose. We're coming into your cross-legged easy pose to meditate and reflect, bask in the after effect of this beautiful warm-up exercise, spinal flexion. Just noticing if you feel calmer, if your nervous system maybe is coming into balance. Our autonomic nervous system, our neuroception, is constantly scanning our environment to make sure we are safe. And when it perceives a threat based on a past experience, it can put us into the sympathetic fight or flight, or the parasympathetic shutdown, immobility. Just noticing how this practice can put you into a nice balanced homeostasis, optimum state of functioning, optimum health, balancing the nervous system rather than being in a fight or flight or a shutdown, immobility, which can look like no one cares about me, I don't matter, nothing I do is good enough, is the parasympathetic shutdown, trying to protect you, or fighting, feeling like angry or that you need to run, sympathetic. And rather, we really want to come into this balanced state so we can take the next step rather than be restricted by our neuroception, which is simply trying to protect us based on having perceived a threat based on a past experience. So important for the Cancerian energy and archetype to feel safety, emotional safety. The sign that rules over our domestic life, our private life, our home, and our maternal lineage, our relationship with our mothers. Gorgeous. And we're just going to push back into our downward facing dog. We're going to focus with a powerful concentration on the breath, bringing in our Ujjayi breath, maybe pedaling out the legs here, lifting the seat up, gazing at the navel. Brain is heavy in the head, release the neck. Breathe here, and beginning to bring in Scorpio's intense, obsessive focus and power of concentration on the breath. Let it deliver you into a meditative state by focusing your awareness on your breath. Scorpio, powerful Scorpio, is fixed water. Fix your awareness stubbornly on your breath. Let nothing deter you. And look forward, lift the seat, maybe hop or step to the top of your mat and rolling up the spine, opening the heart, melting the shoulders down as you reach up and bringing the hands together at heart center, just noticing, breathing, focusing on the breath. Scorpio is the sign of emotional extremes. So here, let us find balance with square breathing. So we're going to practice a square breathing just to start to bring some real stability into our practice to counterbalance and counteract that emotional extremes that Scorpio is known for. Breathing in for 4 counts, beginning, inhaling 1, 2, 3, 4. Pausing for 4 counts, 2, 3, 4. Exhaling for 4 counts, 1, 2, 3, 4, and pausing for 4 counts, 1, 2, 3, 4, inhaling for 4, 2, 3, 4, pausing, holding the breath in a restful way for 4 counts, 4, exhaling for 4 counts, and pausing at the bottom for 4 counts. Doing this breath in a relaxed way, inhaling, focusing on the count, on the breath, and keeping your square breathing going using your own count here. You can even increase the breath to 6 counts, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6 counts in, 6 counts, pause, 6 counts, exhale, and 6 counts. Pause if that works better for you, but the nice 4 count is a really stabilizing, grounding number, grounding energy. So I recommend the 4. And continuing this breath for a moment on your own. You've got this. Beautiful. And then we're going to come to the mat through a Vinyasa, keeping your mind focused and trained on your breath, perhaps even keeping your 4 count breath, so moving with the 4 counts, 2, 3, 4, exhale, gently lift and lengthen, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, coming all the way to the mat, or coming into Chaturanga, inhaling, 2, 3, 4, pressing back, downward facing dog, 2, 3, 4, continuing here to breathe in your downward facing dog. We're going to lift up through the right leg and scorpion the tail, scorpion your leg, bending at the knee, opening the hip, keeping the shoulders square to the mat, and just allowing this hip opening to release any blocked emotions. Breathing here for a moment. And maybe allowing the foot to come all the way to the floor, reversing and flipping over into a wild thing for a moment, and then coming back through your Scorpio, straightening the right leg up in the air, the hips are square, and then we're just going to come into a little sweeping swan pigeon, bringing the right leg through and to the mat here, and bringing the shin either parallel to the front of the mat or bringing the foot towards the left hip here as you bend the right knee and sit down. Lift while you lift up. If you need some blocks to support you for a moment, we're going to lift up for a moment, and then we're going to bow forward into our sleeping swan, getting really internal here. Scorpio is the sign of hidden depths. It is a transformational sign that rules over metamorphosis, even death. Just opening up through the right hip here. Using any blocks or props to support you. A hip opening to release emotions that are often trapped somatically in the hips. Digesting, processing our emotions through the power of movement. And maybe you want to come all the way down to the mat or bring a block in front of you just to rest your forehead for a minute. We won't be here too long. Stabilizing the breath with your 4-count inhale. Pausing at the top for 4 counts with no stress. Exhaling for 4 counts. Pausing at the bottom, emptying out for 4 counts. And inhaling, tracing the breath with your awareness, using the intense focus of Scorpio. And staying really investigating your internal world through the breath. Beautiful. And then we're going to press back into our downward facing dog and lifting the left leg, scorpioning the tail here, keeping the shoulder blades square to the earth, opening through the hip, letting the right foot come towards the ground, and just let it slowly, and when you're ready, in your own time, flip you over if this is accessible for you, and then opening and maybe coming into a back bend if that works for you, or just keeping it in a wild thing. Maybe you want to bring the both feet to the ground and see if you can rotate all the way over. And then when you're ready, having some fun with that wild thing, that fun, funky pose. Bringing the hips square, left foot is lifted here, and then we're going to just bring the left knee bent through and placing it on the earth, sleeping swan, pigeon. Lifting up for a moment, getting everything situated, and then reclining, releasing down to the earth to practice your square breathing. Just as you breathe here, contemplating where you might be engaging in extreme behavior or where there might be extreme emotions, volatility, noticing the pendulum swings both ways. So we're really wanting to attend to that homeostasis, the middle path, balance, equilibrium, for our optimum health and functioning. Although that intense focus and drive often leaves Scorpio to success, can come at a cost. Just seeing if you can commit to building homeostasis and taking the middle path, perhaps releasing emotional extreme behavior that might be performed to seek external validation or even control a situation. Scorpio can be controlling. You can use that control to really focus and concentrate, research and investigate what we truly desire. So connecting into your soul's desires and using that focus and concentration to empower your true desires rather than perpetuate emotional extremes through extreme behaviors that might not be truly aligned with your authenticity. Scorpio is so magnetic when it's really embodying its authentic self. And releasing that, pressing back into your downward facing dog, pedaling out the legs, noticing any release in the hips, the glutes here. Then we're gonna look forward, step forward, come to the top of our mat, and then rolling up the spine, stacking your vertebra by vertebra. Chin comes up last, the shoulders are melting down, and we're just gonna open up through the heart, back bending. Bringing the hands back to the heart center, releasing here. We're just gonna flow down to the mat, inhaling. Arms are coming up, I'm pressing my pubic bone forward and arching like over a beach ball. Exhaling down, releasing. Inhaling, gently lift and lengthen before stepping back. We're just gonna lower all the way to the mat. Releasing here for a moment and pressing the forehead on the floor. Just imagining your thoughts pouring out through like a drain in your third eye. Just imagining all the thoughts and fixations, any attachments you might be harboring, just releasing them like a drain, imagining like a spiraling vortex, reabsorbing your thoughts, recycling them into the earth. And then pressing back again to our child's pose, opening the heart here just for a moment. Again, feeling held, supported, nurtured. And we're going to come up and step through. Come through to a seat. Beautiful. Moving into a yin restorative practice to connect into the third and final water sign, mutable feminine water, Pisces, the sign of the dreamer, the lucid sign that rules over our sleep and dreams, the astral plane. So we're going to come into our nice yin practice, beginning to really turn inward into that yin feminine essence. You might like to dim the screen, soften your lights to enjoy the full benefits of this practice. We're just going to begin with a nice seated forward fold, grabbing a block, a bolster, pillows, blankets, whatever you need to get super comfortable here. We're just going to bend forward, supporting the forehead as needed in a nice juicy forward fold, coming into about 70% of your maximum flexibility. We're bypassing the muscle to access the connective tissue, the fascia, where we are able to gain mobility and flexibility. So akin to putting braces on the muscles compared to working the muscle and building muscle by tearing the muscle through repetitions. We're really holding the pose, long, deep, luxurious, lucid holds, calming the body, calming the mind. And you can either practice yin as a mindfulness practice, anchoring in on the breath, listening to the sound of the breath, or you can just let your mind daydream. In our culture, we don't acknowledge the value of dreams or daydreaming or lucidity. Even our emotions are kind of seen as a burden rather than a great teacher, a messenger, a guide. So here, acknowledging so many of our great inventions and great artwork, even E equals MC squared, Pisces, Einstein, who is a Pisces, received this Akashic message through a daydream, and even many great scientists have received their inventions through dream states or lucid states, daydreaming. And as we hold our yin posture, hyaluronic acid can be released in the body, the youthful acid. Once we stay here for quite some time in your own practice, I encourage you to keep deepening your practice, keep going for longer holds, building up to that. If you're new to this practice, maybe easing out a little bit if you need to, or if you've have a strong yin practice, going deeper and deeper. Our sleep is so important. In deep sleep, proteins created in the brain, toxins are removed. There's been studies that show correlations between insomnia and Alzheimer's. So yoga nidra, yogic sleep, is a great medicine for the mind, allowing us to get into a lucid state that can deliver us into a restful sleep. Yin is perfect to practice before bed. And then gently releasing slowly, slowly with this kind of inward focus, lucidity, coming out of the pose and just noticing the reverberation and allowing the body just to intuitively do whatever it wants to respond to the long, deep hold. What's the echo or the ricochet effect? So maybe coming down into a shavasana and windshield wipering the legs. I'm just going to lucidly, really restfully bring the ankles over the hips, legs up the wall. And you can even, would be great to go over to the wall and actually do this up the wall for as long as you can, to be supported here. In yin, we're always trying to prop ourselves up to bypass the muscle engagement and connect in deeper. So any support you can give yourself in this practice is great. And then we're just going to bend at the right knee, clasping the hands over the right shin and dropping the left leg towards the earth for a moment. Just staying here restfully, opening up through the groin and the left adductor, the left front hip. Surrendering. Pisces is the 12th and final sign in the zodiac. It is the sign of endings and release, letting go. Surrender, flowing. An imaginative and dreamy sign, rolling over also illusion, ruled by Neptune, this huge gaseous elusive planet, this otherworldly planet. Pisces is said to be the most spiritual sign, or the sign that embodies spirituality, not religion. Sagittarius rules over religions. But that spiritual essence. And then we're just going to take the right knee and bring it across the body into a twist. If you'd like to bring both knees together here, or keep the left leg straight, whatever is most supportive for you. If you're going to straighten the leg and your left knee isn't making it to the ground, bring a block underneath that right knee. Bringing the knees together is a great way to keep this super yin and restorative. We're going to open up the right hand towards the right side, and the right shoulder makes its way to ground us onto the mat. That's important here. I'm just gazing out and closing down the eyes, allowing for this healthy compression in the gut. We say the belly is the mirror to the mind. So much of our neurochemicals, serotonin, is produced in the gut. And even in Ayurveda, ancient lifestyle wisdom of India, digestion is considered the seat of health, and disease is a byproduct of undigested food left in the stomach that creates ama, or toxins. This twist, letting it just support your digestion through gentle compression, as well as when we get into a rest and digest state, we're able to digest our food, so we have to get into a restful state for the body to be able to digest. And then whenever you're ready in your own time, coming back through center, noticing the reverb, and then bringing the legs up the wall again for a moment, flexing and pointing the feet, rolling out the ankles, and then bringing the left knee in towards the left armpit, clasping the hands over the shin as you allow the right leg to gently fall towards the earth, and opening up through the right hip, just gently, ever so gently, in a relaxed way, squeezing the left knee in if that feels right for you. Breathing into the hip. Opening up and releasing stuck emotions, letting the emotions flow. When we repress and block emotions, they can get trapped as in our internal organs, creating imbalances, like repressed anger getting stored in the liver. And then emotional outbursts, rather than the ability to express our emotions elegantly, beautifully, powerfully. And then just bringing the left knee across the body ever so gently, perhaps bending both knees in, coming into a twist on the second side, reaching out with the left hand towards the wall, gazing out over the fingertips. The left shoulder makes its way towards the ground, stabilizing, grounding you. Just resting here, surrendering into the twist. Pisces, the sign of dreams, sleep and dreams, altered states of consciousness, is a boundless sign in an infinite ocean, wanting to merge the empathy, a sign of empaths, highly sensitive people, sensitive, intuitive, able to really pierce beyond the veil and access that mystical, spiritual realm. The life wisdom for Pisces is to learn boundaries, earthy boundaries and energetic boundaries. Rather than always going along with the flow, it's beautiful to get into flow state, that lucid state, trusting the intuition without overthinking. And in our relationships, in our world, we want to bring heaven to earth. So working towards creating boundaries through communicating our needs, about energetic boundaries by controlling our emotional world, or creating boundaries to curate our world so we're not exposed to undesirable energies that can easily permeate the being. Creating rituals and our daily habits and routines to support our energy. The opposing sign of Pisces is Virgo, the analytical, logical, rational sign that rules over minutia, the minutia of our daily habits and routines. So here, Pisces, by cultivating a daily practice that supports the energetic body and your emotional world, will be so beneficial. And releasing, beautiful, coming back to center, doing whatever movements the body feels naturally inclined to do before releasing into Shavasana, corpse pose, our final resting posture. And imagining a wave of relaxation washing over you from the crown of your head, over your facial features, relaxing the neck and the shoulders, the arms and the rib cage, the chest, the belly, allowing the pelvic bowl to be heavy and melt into the earth, relaxing the thighs and hamstrings, the knees and the lower legs, melting the feet. Pisces rules over our feet into the earth, coming into full surrender, feeling heavy and weighted, melting into the earth as you allow a harmonious distribution of all the energy you cultivated throughout your entire being. Releasing the breath, any effort, effortless, abiding here. making peace with your practice. Valuing the rest as much as the restfulness, the surrender, the non-doing, rejuvenation, as much as you value the initiative, the cardinal initiative of Cancer, or the obstinate, fixed focus of Scorpio. And valuing this moment, taking your time to integrate and marinate in your practice, letting it sink in ever deeper, absorbing your practice like a water sign, absorbing the energy of your practice into every cell in your being. And whenever you're ready, just gently coming back, but staying here as long as you possibly can, wiggling the fingers and toes, bringing the arms overhead for a moment, bending in the knees, placing the feet firmly on the floor before turning over to one side, cradling the ear on the bicep like a pillow, honoring this transitional moment, the fetal posture, taking time to be held in the arms of the mother, the divine mother, Ma, and pressing down through the hands, coming up to a seat when you're ready. Bringing the hands to your heart center, tapping in to the waves of the breath, making a vow, setting an intention, making the commitment to start to really honor, truly honor your emotional world, and expanding your tolerance for your emotions, expanding your ability to sense and perceive your emotions, as they are life itself, great teachers, guides. Accessing the full spectrum of your humanity through the complete range of emotions, even those that might be uncomfortable. And rather than repress, deny, block your emotions, numb out, committing to taking more time to being present with your emotional body, the tenderness of your emotional world, and holding space for the vulnerability of your inner child. Bringing the hands to the forehead, bowing the forehead towards the floor to seal in your practice. And as it is a great honor and privilege to teach and practice yoga, I say to you, and you say to me, Namaste.